JD Vance doesn't get enough hate.
No, not at all. Although, did you see him walking through like the DC train station or something?
Oh, yeah.
Screamed at by people, say, couch fucker, couch fucker.
Yeah, he pulled up with like Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth to just like look around the station because apparently now it's free of criminals.
I think they went to have like lunch with like National Guardsmen and DC police to like show their support, which is corny.
Yeah, because apparently now crime is at an all-time low in DC, but only now because they did a military occupation.
Well, it went from the most dangerous city perhaps in the world to now the cleanest, most safest city ever.
That's right.
And it's increasing by the hour.
And so JD Vance is sort of making his rounds on media here, explaining why we need an occupation of DC, and of course arguing in favor of other Trump policies as well. And to start off this show, I've got a clip of him on the Ingram Angle.
Oh, Ingram Angle,
fantastic journalist.
Notable real journalist show right now.
Yeah, and with JD Vance being a contender for 2028, the likely nominee for the Republican Party for 2028, right?
Insane statement.
He was asked about the other likely nominee for the Democratic Party, Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
And JD Vance has some advice for how the Democratic Party can sort of rebuild from the shambles it found itself in 2024. And I think we should listen because, look, we're trying to revitalize the Democratic brand, folks, and we should listen to advice where we get it.
Exactly, and clearly they won the last election, so they know a lot about winning elections, so we can learn something here.
Exactly. So let's take a listen to JD Vance on the Ingram Angle.
Democrats are still doing their 2024 autopsy.
Yes.
Okay. And part of their autopsy is that going forward, they need to kind of be more like Trump in tone, tougher, have nicknames. Newsom's given you a nickname, which I don't even understand, called Just Dance Vance. So I guess, what's your favorite dance? What's your favorite
saying it to his face is crazy.
Dumbest nickname. But how lost are the Democrats right now? And you can answer the dance question.
I mean, look, the autopsy for the Democrats, some free political advice from the President of the United States is
don't help them too much.
Stop sounding like crazy people. That really is all it is. I mean, this idea that Gavin Newsom is somehow going to mimic Donald Trump's style, I think that ignores the fundamental genius of President Trump's political success, which is that he's authentic.
Aggressive
he just
dick riding.
is who he is. You've got to be yourself. You've actually got to talk to people honestly about the issues. I don't think it's that complicated. Don't be a crazy person. Be authentic. If the Democrats did that, they'd do a hell of a lot better. But the thing is, the Democrats really can't help themselves. If you look at the transgender issue, they're still talking about letting men play in women's sports. If you look at the crime issue, they're calling Donald Trump a fascist for taking action that in 9 days has dropped armed robberies by 55%.
55%.
So sounding less crazy is being less crazy. And if the Democrats were less crazy, I think we'd all get along a whole lot better.
Genuine advice for Democrats to be authentic, because that is what they struggle the most with. But to say don't be a crazy person, Trump won because he's not, is just the craziest thing. Trump won because he's a crazy person.
And the thing that I don't think JD Vance or Ingram Angle caught here was that he's saying Gavin Newsom is acting crazy.
Yeah.
When Gavin Newsom is mimicking Trump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did he not just say that Trump is being authentically crazy? Was that not the take?
That's why it doesn't make sense. And there's been this whole thing on Fox News for the past week about them freaking out about how Gavin Newsom's been acting, said that this isn't how the governor of a state should act. This isn't very, not presidential, but this isn't how a politician should act. But it's that's your guy.
Yeah, he's showing a mirror to you. I have plenty of problems with Gavin Newsom. I do not want him to be the 2028 nominee. Of course. But he's just acting like your guy. And that makes you super angry for some reason.
And that's you getting angry about it is way funnier than how Gavin Newsom's acting in the first place. Because I stand by, I think the press releases are corny.
Oh, yeah.
It had some novelty for the first two, but it keeps going on. And JD Vance is kind of right in that Gavin Newsom in doing the mimicking thing, it doesn't have the sauce like Trump does because it's not authentic. But it's you're giving it so much more airtime by getting pissed about it. And I think that's what Gavin Newsom is looking for.
I would be curious to ask, what about it is so annoying to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he is, it's just bar for bar the same thing.
Yeah.
And I find that corny the same way I find it when Trump does it corny, but it's he's just doing the same shit. So what about it is so upsetting to you, and why wouldn't that criticism apply to Trump as well? It's just because they happen to share an ideology, kind of.
And it's also funny that JD Vance being the prospective nominee, just doing these interviews, still is sauceless.
Oh my God, yeah.
JD Vance still zero charisma.
I think people underestimate JD Vance's rhetorical ability. He's very much a debate bro guy, right? He knows how to put an argument together and make it sort of a little bit persuasive. But he does not know how to interact with human beings.
He doesn't know
whatsoever.
how to deliver a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's extremely corny. He doesn't know how to relate to anybody. He just has like an academic brain, because I think didn't he go to like Harvard or something like that?
Harvard Law or some shit, yeah.
Yeah, so like he's got that part of him still stashed away, but no, he's just not a person.
No,
Like,
not at all,
he's
man.
not a person.
And he's not a person, and he sucks, and he backs evil policies, and he's like damn near evil. And there was another interview that he did, I think it was last week on this interview circuit. It has nothing to do with politics, but the interviewer, I don't know if they were talking about music or whatever, but JD Vance said, my favorite song from like the 90s rock era is Fade Into You by Mazzy Star, and man, that pissed me off.
Was that not the Katie Miller interview?
Was that Katie Miller?
I think on Katie Miller, she asked him about music, and the music he put up was just like what you would engineer in a lab for somebody of his age to like.
It's fucked up though. He can't like good music though. He can't say he likes.
No,
a good
that's
song.
what I'm saying. Like, it's too buttoned up. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, I know he's not actually like
just
that.
like hearing those words come out of his mouth, it pissed me off. That shit made me viscerally angry. Like,
liberal
come
triggered.
on.
Liberal triggered.
At liberal triggered. They got me.
And no, so that's JD Vance. But I do want to take a moment real quick to hate on our senator,
Yes.
because she does deserve a little bit of hate. Elissa Slotkin put out this video, essentially a montage of the military-industrial complex here in Michigan.
Yes.
Saying, like, this is why Michigan is so great, because we're the best at building weapons and building military equipment that can, like, decimate people overseas. And it's like, one, still just dramatically missing the moment.
Yes.
And two, I get that a lot of state economies are tied up in the military-industrial complex, but, like, can't we use that industrial know-how for literally anything else?
Does it have to be used to make weapons of war? It was like the whole video was centered around like 5 reasons why Michigan loves the military or some shit. And 2 of them were about like military training and having space here for military to do exercises. And the other 3 were about, we love building guns. We love building guns. We have a great drone industry and whatever. And the video ended with made in Michigan. Really, I don't want murder made in Michigan.
Yeah.
That's not the cool thing I want to pride my state on.
Yeah, like the military-industrial complex is a complicated and entangled web in like various state economies, right? Like pulling back on military spending would hurt a lot of state economies because like so much of industry is tied up in that stuff. But it's like, why can't we tool all of that labor towards something productive like educating children or like building schools or housing?
And like in a moment where even regular people are starting to like notice and scream about the genocide in Gaza and how we are funding that and giving them weapons. And you yourself, Elissa Slotkin, has just come under criticism for being supportive of giving offensive weapons to Israel. You shouldn't be dropping a video talking about how cool the MIC is.
Yeah.
It's just never what you should do.
That shit sucks bigly. Shit sucks bigly. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Welcome back. And you know, right off the top, I got to drop a new and special announcement.
Oh my God.
Inspired by the MSNBC rebrand to MS Now, I think we here at Head in the Office also need to do a rebrand.
Okay, what's that?
So instead of Head in the Office, I'm proposing Head Now.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Is the Now like an acronym like it is in MS Now?
Yeah, but I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay. Yeah. The MSNBC rebrand sucks bigly, but Head Now sounds good. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Thursday, August 21st. We're back bringing you some more Hit-O. You know where to go if you want early access. It's Patreon.
Patreon.com/headintheoffice. Help us get to the new goal. You're already getting postcards. You could be getting stickers.
Yeah, and that's big. Also, as we announced last episode, you can now buy a post if you have commitment issues. But I will say, when we posted the episode on Monday, I tried to set it at $2. Patreon said you have to charge at least $3.
At least $3? Damn. Wow.
So it can't be $2. It's actually $3 to buy a post. We would set it lower if we could. And also they said there's like additional charges if you use the iOS version. I don't know why.
Fucking bourgeois patron.
Maybe you can like buy it on the computer and then just like use the app. I don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah, I think that's how that should work.
But apologies. We tried to make it as cheap as possible. Patreon said no.
SMH, look at us getting too big for our britches.
Yeah, no.
Trying to launch something before doing all the research.
It's fucked up. But so for $3, you can get early access to any individual post if you don't want to become a monthly subscriber on the Patreon. All of that's down in the description, of course. You could also get some Hit-O merch.
Oh. That's
it's
cool.
getting to winter time, kind of. I mean, into August.
Very chilly.
Maybe you want a hoodie.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where it's cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon, and you can't figure out what to wear.
Yeah, worst time of the year, in my opinion, quite honestly. But hit merch down there in the description. All of the social links in the description. Join the Discord. You know what to do. And lastly, you can leave us a 5-star review.
5 stars.
On Apple or Spotify.
Yes.
In this first one, I think the only one from Apple that we have today from Noam Chomsky. They say, "Grr, I can't stand political violence." A play on the Patreon commercial, I suppose. Ever since last November, I found keeping up with current events to be extremely challenging, not only because of what is possibly the most corrupt administration in American history, but because no other news source has been brave enough to condemn Hamas and all forms of political violence.
That's right.
And I'm heavy on condemning Hamas and all forms of political violence.
Nobody stood on business like us.
I had gone so long without a tertiary news source that I'd nearly forgotten that good things are good and bad things are bad. Fortunately for all of us, Hassan's 2 younger brothers are here. That's right, I'm Turkish, baby.
That's right.
Are here to help us keep all of us up to date on the latest strain of the woke mind virus, and for that I am truly grateful. These boys are somehow able to report on the news without making me want to outdrink Pete Hegseth. and with 2 episodes every week, they may just be elevated from my tertiary news source to my secondary, or dare I even say, primary news source.
Big honor.
Although listening to Hito may have irreversibly altered my vocabulary, if I'm able to be heavy on teaching my fellow man to catch a vibe, then it's all worth it. May Hito bless us all with hybrid Honda CRVs, and may we have an actual progressive candidate in 2028.
Shit, amen. Amen,
man. That's a good one. That's
amen,
a good review.
right
Thank you for the review.
Now switching over to Spotify on the most recent previous episode, which is how we're doing this whole Spotify thing. This first one from Jason, 500 out of 5 stars. While I typically prefer to read my news, as an avid podcast listener, adding these 2 quirked up white boys to my rotation was a no-brainer. Being a dirty socialist in the hellhole known as the South is tough, but Hito serves as a shining beacon of sanity in these trying times and has become one of my top news sources, tertiary or otherwise. I've only been here a few months and still learning the ropes. I think I'm supposed to condemn something, but maybe I'll figure it out soon. And figure it out you shall.
You're supposed to condemn Hamas,
Yep,
political violence, and Gavin Newsom. Those are the 3. And that Gavin Newsom is a preemptive condemnation. You know what I mean?
We got to build it up for 2028 because he's getting a lot of sauce right now, admittedly.
Yeah.
Because I can catch a vibe. I can see the way the winds blow.
Yeah.
And right now, they're unfortunately blowing his direction. Now, while I recognize that, I still condemn him.
Yeah, definitely still condemn him. This next one from M1N1 Grump, 5 out of 5 stars. First of all, I condemn something and political violence. I just want to say that I have recently started watching my favorite tertiary news source at the start of this 4-year hellscape. These quirked up white boys make the news feel less like a weight that hits me in the head. This is the best tertiary news source there is.
And I'm huge on that right there. Huge on that. This last one from Flynn. As a quirked up, lead-riddled blue-collar worker from Flint, Michigan, these fellow Michiganders have been a welcome highlight to my podcast rotation in keeping me informed in a much better way than doom-scrolling on TikTok while spiraling at the fast descent of our country into the lamest form of fascism that has ever been witnessed. Keep up the good work. If you guys do a Michigan meetup, I'll definitely be there with friends. Also, I condemn Slotkin and all forms of political violence. 1,837 out of 5 stars.
Nice. Well, stay tuned for that Michigan meetup. Maybe soon.
Oh, maybe soon.
Maybe soon. Stay tuned.
We got a big announcement in the works.
But yeah, stay tuned for that. Thank you all for leaving a review. If you want your review read, you know absolutely where to go. But now it's time to get into the news.
It is.
Today we're talking about Trump potentially stealing the next election. We got to talk about Texas and the Democrats a little bit.
We got to talk about D.C.
We got a D.C. update in here. And then there's a number of extras. Oh, we got an Epstein update as well. Just a little thing on Epstein. And then there's a number of extras that we want to go through, as well as I'll say a nationwide racism update that I got in here a little bit later on. And I will say this is a story that I was informed of today. Shit made my skin crawl. It's really bad. Man. So stay tuned for that.
Right,
but
stay tuned. Make sure to listen to the end.
Starting off with Trump saying he's going to steal the next election, it's becoming less and less likely, folks, that we have an election in 2026, let alone 2028. And it's not making me very happy.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I rock with democracy. It's a cool thing. It's a good principle.
As flawed as our democracy is.
An ideal we all should aspire to.
Regular elections are, I think, not that bad.
Yes.
They should be kept alive. But Trump has been openly saying, like, hey, guys, I'm going to steal the next election. And I feel like we're at a point where we just kind of have to treat it like normal.
Yeah.
Like, nobody really gives a shit anymore. First, of course, we had the Texas gerrymander and Trump going to Texas and now Indiana and basically saying, like, hey, get me more seats because I'm going to lose Congress otherwise. And then we had his meeting with Zelensky where he said, like, oh, I like that you haven't held an election since you've been invaded. Trump found that kind of amusing.
How cheeky.
And then most recently, Trump said that he wants to end mail-in ballots, saying on Truth Social, quote, I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. And also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. We are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting, and all others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered.
None of that is true.
No, just not true.
None of that is true at all. We're not the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting.
No.
Many other countries
Not
in the
even
world
close.
use mail-in voting. Russia uses mail-in voting, don't they?
Yeah, well, Trump himself
Trump
votes
himself
by mail.
votes by mail. The American military votes by mail. Oh, that's crazy. I feel like every statement in here is just wrong. You mean to tell me that somebody manually counting with their fingers and eyes thousands and thousands of thousands and thousands of ballots at like fucking 10 o'clock at night is more accurate than paper go burr in the machine?
Yeah.
You tell me that? And it's also just the seriously controversial and expensive voting machines, which cost 10 times more than the accurate and sophisticated watermark paper. There was the famous Dominion lawsuit against Fox News where he found out that Tucker Carlson and everyone on the network like hated Trump anyway to begin with. There was Newsmax being sued by Fox News. And I think this week, the other voting machine company, Smartmatic, I believe, just dropped details from the other lawsuit where Fox News was sued for defamation about their machines. At every single fucking moment, we're getting more and more conclusions from lawsuits about how there are indeed like there is no factual basis for 2020 being stolen. There's no factual basis for voting machines being tampered with. Yeah. They're actually fine and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And once again, I will remind you that almost all of the instances of election fraud that we saw of the 2020 election were individual instances of Republicans like voting for their dead mothers.
For Trump.
For Trump. Yeah,
exactly.
not for Joe Biden.
Yeah, no, voter fraud is astonishingly rare because of how decentralized our voting systems are, or because of how decentralized the electoral system is, like with counties being the ones that basically run elections rather than the federal government itself running elections. It's incredibly hard to do voter fraud in mass in any real way. Yeah. Like you can't do it. And I think the idea is either that when you put your paper ballot into the counter, somebody's like hacking it.
Well, there's a man sitting in the machine actually that's looking at him and then throwing the ones aside.
There's a small homunculus
exactly.
man.
Exactly. There is actually someone physically counting the thing. It just hides them so that they can steal it in secret.
Oh, of course. Or I don't know if states do this at all, but I think his claim might be that like when you go to vote, it's like a touchscreen kind of thing. Oh. Which I feel like I have no idea if this is a real thing.
I've only ever voted in Michigan.
Yeah, I've only ever voted in Michigan.
And also Arizona and Georgia and Pennsylvania and all the other swing states during the 2024 election.
Well, but that was all totally legitimate, though. You know what I mean? I was rightfully there.
I was on a road trip across the swing states.
I did it myself. Like, it's a real thing.
You could say I was harvesting ballots for people.
But yeah, obviously, many other countries, including our allies like the United Kingdom, do mail-in voting. They let anybody get a mail-in ballot. We've been doing mail-in voting in this country since the Civil War.
It's never been a problem.
It's never been a problem. Like you said, military votes overseas. I did see one person try to say they don't use mail-in votes, they use absentee votes. That is the same thing. That's what you're absent from the polls. It's an absentee mail-in ballot.
No, they brought the Smartmatic machine to the base.
Well, of course. With
the little man inside who's taking away all the Trump votes.
So it's pretty difficult at this point to like balance sounding the alarm about something that is so obviously a threat to like our entire democratic system and tempering our expectations with reality, because it's like Trump can't unilaterally, at least at this point, say that states have to use mail-in ballot or they cannot use mail-in ballots. They have to use paper ballots because Congress is the only entity that can like force states to do something by law according like with elections.
Yeah, because states run their own elections other than the law rules Congress sets.
Other than that, the states run the elections on their own. So like it's hard to like look at this and then not sound alarmist, but it's like he does just want to steal the next election. He's just saying it.
And like it's also just like not to get too doomer, not to get too alarmist, not to get too conspiracy minded, but it's like every other thing this administration does, every accusation has been a confession. They've accused Democrats of something and then they've just done that thing. Is it really that much of a stretch to think they're accusing Democrats of voter fraud, so now they're going to put in systems where they can do voter fraud?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's
maybe.
where we are, but it's just like, it's not too much of a stretch to think that that's a world that we could land at if things keep on pace as they are.
I think the more obvious way that they would cheat in the election is just the way that they always have, through voter suppression tactics.
For sure.
Right? Like, we already got the gerrymandering, which we've talked about extensively, but now he wants to take away mail-in ballots. I'm sure they'll find ways to like close down polling places in black neighborhoods and stuff like that. But this is what they've always done, and that's never been a secret. That's how they win elections, is by preventing people from being able to vote. There's an effort, I think, in Michigan to establish voter ID laws again. There's a ballot petition that's going to be going around. They tried to do that last time too. All that does is just prevent people from getting access to the polls under the guise that voter fraud is this massive issue. And they might not be able to get away with like canceling outright the next election, but if they want to steal it or if they want to cheat, that's how they're going to do it.
Exactly. They're going to do it like that, and they're going to do it like the gerrymandering that they're already engaging in. Like it's they cheat in ways that are like legal, unfortunately. And that sucks.
And I don't like that very much.
And it's also like Trump has been doing. Doesn't Trump have that like wall of hats at like the White House that's got like 4 more years, Trump 2028 on it, that he just loves to show everybody?
Yeah.
So corny.
It's corny, and like, I mean, with the way he's been talking lately, I don't think he's gonna live to see 2028. Bro's been saying, Trump was saying some shit like, I'm afraid I'm not gonna get into heaven.
He's an old man. he's an old man. Like that. Who knows?
I think his fears might be correctly placed, though.
Absolutely.
That dude's not getting into the gates of heaven, you know what I mean?
Especially after this second administration specifically.
Oh,
man.
So that's Trump trying to steal the election. But now we got to talk about Texas.
Yes.
Sort of connected to the attempt to steal these next elections. But instead of talking about the gerrymandering effort, which was, or at least so far has been successful, the map passed the House recently in Texas. I want to talk about the Democratic Party of Texas, who has, up to this point, shown some bravery and seemingly lost it as they returned home.
Yeah.
So we covered last episode the Democrats returning to Texas after raising the profile of the gerrymandering issue. And as they returned on Monday, Texas Democrats were forced to sign a permission slip that authorized them to leave the Capitol grounds as long as they promised to return on Wednesday. This was on Monday when they had to do this, and allow an officer, a police officer, to follow them at all times.
So like in their home?
Yeah, everywhere. I think there was a picture of one state rep like in the grocery store, and there was like a state officer next to him.
They're just sitting in the cuck chair?
Yeah.
The state officer's just sitting in the chair at the corner of the bedroom while you sleep?
Yeah, like this was clearly a requirement placed on them so they wouldn't flee the state again. Or if they tried to, I guess they would get like detained. There's no legal authority.
I was going to say,
here.
could they even be detained if they tried to leave the state?
No, and that's like my point here, is that they didn't break the law. There was a question if Greg Abbott could like replace them, which I don't think was fully explored. But they didn't break the law. There was no crime that was committed. The Republicans in the House have no like legal authority to do this, and that's part of my criticism here. Is like, why the fuck did you sign the slip? And there's another sort of piece connected to this. Every member of the Texas Democrats signed this permission slip, except one, being Nicole Collier. She was held in the House chamber overnight because she refused to sign. They wouldn't let her leave.
They kidnapped her. Is that not false imprisonment?
It's false. Yeah, exactly.
Literally the legal definition of false imprisonment. Does she not have grounds to like sue or some shit?
I think she actually might be exploring that, being able to sue them. But it's like, I don't understand for the life of me why the Democrats wouldn't have banded together in this moment and said, fuck your permission slip, I'm going home.
No, yeah, like you already had the balls to deny quorum and flee the state for like 2 weeks or something like that, incur the penalties, to take whatever you were going to get like as a result of those actions. Why are you signing the permission slip? What are they going to do? Shoot you? Like,
yeah, no. If they all would have banded together and just left instead of leaving this representative to sleep on her own, then like they all could have just left. They couldn't have done anything about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would have been a better sign of resistance than signing the permission slip.
Like, were they scared of like actually being arrested if they didn't sign the permission slip or something?
I guess so.
Because I think that was kind of part of like the threat.
It just, I don't understand. Like we had all this like anti-authoritarian, anti-election rigging sentiment when they left, and then they come back and they're just like, all right, let's get this done then. Like, what changed? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because on Wednesday, the House went on to pass the gerrymandered map. The House in Texas passed the gerrymandered map. So what was this like? I know that they were sort of delaying the inevitable. They don't have the numbers in their legislature to actually resist this. But why just entirely comply when you get back?
That's kind of what I'm confused about as well. Because of course I get it was a long shot that they were ever going to be able to hold out till December. But this is such a dramatic escalation. Mm-hmm. Like they're humiliating you.
Yeah.
The Texas Republicans did this to humiliate you. It's the most authoritarian thing that they could do. Mm-hmm. You're telling me cops following these people everywhere they go. You got the map passed. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah. No, well, they got the map passed after they did the permission slips.
It was to get back on Wednesday so that they could
exactly.
pass the maps. But it's like you're already back.
Yeah.
You're already back. You're already going to show up. You're already going to pass the maps. The maps are going to get passed no matter what. They're doing this to humiliate you.
Yeah, they're humiliating you. And like, what's the real consequence? Like, if they really wanted to take this, if the Republicans really wanted to be extreme about this, sure, they could try to like lock all of you up for not signing the permission slip. They could lock all of you in the chamber or something like that.
But that can't be legal.
But
there can be no legal grounds that stands on.
It's not legal, and it raises the profile, right? Like that's the point, is that you'll get even more attention. And like, look, part of civil disobedience was the protesters getting their ass beat by the police.
Yes.
And like that's
unfortunately,
that sucks, right? Like that sucks, but part of it was you are disobeying the law because you think the law itself is immoral. And so why not just like do this here?
And it's like we're kind of seeing that play out with the case too, because Nicole Collier, she's in the house. Like she's been falsely imprisoned in the house. She can't fucking leave. I think she can barely like go to the bathroom and like walk around.
She left this morning, I think, or
she
after the vote, or yesterday after the vote.
There's no point in staying.
Right.
But she was held there for what, 2 nights?
I think so.
From Monday to Wednesday or whatever. She was falsely imprisoned. And that's why we're hearing about this. Mm-hmm. That's the aspect of the story that everybody's focusing on. Sure, if every single member of the Texas House signed the permission slip and left, we would hear about it. People would be upset about it. But people are way more upset about it because of how awful that this is.
Kamala Harris came out of the shadows and called her.
Wicked work.
Kamala Harris has been absent from the political scene except to promote her book, which we will talk about later. And the first thing she's done in politics since losing the election is call this representative and support her.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand. Like, even if they're unwilling to like clash with the police on this, even though the police clearly don't have any grounds to falsely imprison them here, then it still would have been a spectacle for all of you to be held in the Capitol building at once.
Exactly. It's the making the spectacle out of it is what forces people to pay attention. Mm-hmm. People, unfortunately, aren't just going to pay attention to something because it's bad. You have to make it like something to look at.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Like, it would have been so much more of a story if the police in Texas had to imprison every single Democrat to pass the gerrymandered map so they don't lose in 2026.
Yeah.
Like, that's so much worse for them. But instead, it's only one person. This one person does get some clout off of it, but now like it's over now. You lost the opportunity. Uh-huh. So like, what was the point? I don't know, man. Democrats can't catch a vibe, and that still, it makes me angry.
They shouldn't have been allowed to do this ever.
Yeah.
How are they not being sued to oblivion? I don't even know like what legal recourse could be possible, or I don't even know what justice, quote unquote, could possibly come out of a situation like this.
I don't know.
Because I mean, the government investigated the government, found the government did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Like, Greg Abbott investigated the police and said the police did nothing wrong, and the police said they did nothing wrong, so
Israel
they didn't
moment.
do it. Like that's what we would get out of this.
Yeah.
But there's something they could have done to make more people pay attention, to make this more abrasive, to make regular people understand that the Republican Party will go to whatever lengths possible to make the lives worse of people that aren't complying with what they want them to do.
It just reminds me of when Trump first came into office and they weren't allowing the fucking geriatric Democratic senators to do oversight in like the Department of Education building.
Yep.
So they were just yelling at that skinhead dude outside.
They
like,
said, let me in the building.
And dude was like, no. And they were like, okay.
You can walk in the building.
Break the glass. Like, I'm sorry, but like, what are they going to do? If they arrest you for doing that, it raises the profile even more.
Exactly.
Like, I don't, like, these Democrats think that they can get into positions of power, especially the national Democrats, because Texas Democrats did try to a pretty large extent. extent, but like Democrats broadly think that they are, once they get into office, they're just entitled to keep that power. It's like, no, dog, you should be willing to take some blows for us.
And it's also famously, historically, whenever politicians get arrested for protesting, it pops off.
That shit looks cool.
People love to see that, actually.
Yeah.
It makes people aware of things, because what do you mean you're arresting politicians? People view politicians as the most powerful people in the fucking world.
Especially when you're so clearly in the right.
Yeah.
Like when you so clearly have a constitutional mandate to exercise authority over federal agencies and they don't let you in, like you're clearly in the right to break the glass. Let them arrest you, but you're doing what the Constitution allows you to do as a senator.
And it's just like, show me one person, one regular person,
Yeah.
not just like crazy conservative, that thinks that what the Texas legislature did or what Greg Abbott and the leaders of the Texas Republican Party did is cool.
Yeah.
And I'd be astonished if you could find one, because it's not that. It's such an overreach.
It's just it's a shame, folks. But map is passed. Texas is. I'm guessing it's going to pass the Senate, and then Greg Abbott will sign it, of course. So Texas will be even more gerrymandered than before, and we'll see what the fuck happens in 2026.
Yeah. So if you live in California, make sure you get out to vote on November 3rd. November
Yeah,
3rd or November 4th
yeah.
to get the California trigger law in there,
Yeah,
which will trigger.
That's also on its way. But it's like, if the Republicans win by any amount, like 1 to 5, the House in the next election, it's like, it's because of this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, sure, California might even counteract all of what Texas can do, but like if Indiana gerrymanders or any other Republican state, this is going to be the reason they win, just because they cheat. And Democrats ain't doing shit about it.
I wish we could get a special election in Michigan that would just erase Michigan representation. We could get John James out of here.
Well, John James is going to lose the governor's race, and he will.
That's true. Yeah, so no matter what, John James is not holding political power.
John James enjoyed like 4 years in the House of Representatives,
Something like that,
I think
yeah.
he won in 2022. So he'll have 4 years as an elected representative. He'll lose the governor's race, and he'll be out of public life again.
Oh, I can't wait. And then he'll be back with a vengeance in 2028.
Yeah.
Would he have the audacity to try and make a bid for president? I would love
Dude,
to see
probably.
I would love to see a Republican primary with fucking John James and JD Vance. What are we talking about? I wouldn't even talk about the Democratic primary at that point.
That's all my favorite people in one room, dude. Oh, man. I don't think he'd run against JD Vance, but I mean, he is the world's most losing man, so maybe.
Exactly. He's got a knack for it.
Yeah.
He's like the Democrats. He loves losing elections.
He's spiritually Democrat. Like, he is. The way he like thinks about the world, I think, might be Democratic.
Wow.
Even though he's a Republican on the issues, but damn.
You know, sometimes it just feels like all the news happens on Monday and Tuesday.
It's messed up.
But my favorite podcast drops episode on Wednesdays. I don't know what to do. It feels like they miss all of it.
That's a curse.
If only there was a platform that I could go to where I could listen to these episodes early, maybe when they record them. Do you have any thoughts?
Boy, do I have a solution for you.
Oh, do tell.
If you head over to patreon.com/headintheofficepod, you can listen to Head in the Office episodes before the curse of Monday and Tuesday news comes out.
Really? Do tell.
And you get access to commercial-free episodes. And everybody wants commercial-free
I bet
episodes.
there's also a whole host of other benefits and community engagement that they offer.
And friendship.
Very true.
Who
And
doesn't
that's
want friendship?
the most important thing
Absolutely.
in times like this.
Back to the episode.
Speaking of government overreach, speaking of government officials getting away with doing things that they should not be able to get away with,
Real.
we got to talk about some updates on the DC occupation. And I want to start with this much smaller update, right? So on Wednesday morning, a National Guard vehicle crashed into a car, injuring a civilian driver inside.
Keeping the streets safe, I see.
Keeping the streets safe. The National Guard out here just doing property damage and injuring civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. You love to see it. If a civilian did that, the cops would be all over him.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on property damage.
And then they would have blamed it on immigrants somehow.
Property damage 1.
Yeah.
Injuring civilians 2.
Yeah.
That's how cops think about that. But anyway, the National Guard vehicle in question wasn't just any like normal van like you've seen ICE agents being hauled around in or any other normal thing that can carry like multiple people. It was a, quote, mine-resistant, ambush-protected, all-terrain vehicle.
I'm sorry, why do we have the mine-resistant car in fucking DC?
Why do we got the biggest, most heavily armored car that's designed to resist impacts from bombs driving around the streets of DC?
You think that the roving gangs wives of like 15-year-old boys are planting mines in the street.
Yes.
Just like, be for real, man.
And it's like now the people of DC not only have to worry about just like the National Guard and increased law enforcement presence walking around and harassing them, they got to worry about their insurance premiums going up because the Army car hit them.
Yeah, you might get T-boned by the APC.
What the fuck is going on,
Christ,
man? That's just, it's ridiculous. The aesthetics of that are so insane.
Yeah.
They're crazy. And it's like, what this made, Stephen Miller about 2 weeks ago said that DC's crime is so high it's more dangerous than Baghdad. But it seems to me that the only thing that could possibly make DC like Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, is the fact that the United States military is occupying the capital city of a country.
That's, yeah, real.
We're driving fucking armored cars through the capital.
Yeah, and posting up with them in front of Union Station to look menacing.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
And crashing into civilians and having to take them into the hospital because the guy was pinned in his car.
Oh my God.
It was minor injuries. Like, he didn't get hurt that bad, but they still had to take him out of the car because he was pinned in there, get him to the hospital and whatnot. That guy's day's ruined.
That shit wouldn't have happened if the military wasn't on the streets.
You know how fucking mad I would be if my car got hit by a car that's, one, way too big to be on the road, and two, designed to resist bombs.
I would grift off that so hard.
Oh, absolutely.
I would launch a career in politics off of that.
I was gonna say that would launch my grift career. But I'm
run
already there, baby.
I would run for office.
Yes.
I would run for office off of that story alone.
You could win a House seat off of that.
Oh yeah,
if you had enough sauce.
I have felt Trump's authoritarianism firsthand when I was hit by a
picture of me in the hospital, picture of the damage done to my car. It writes itself. The ad is right there, man. But that's just a beautiful fucking sight to see,
man.
Yeah.
Psychotic.
We already got trucks that are too big for the road driving along the road. And now we got armored cars that are not only too big, but too heavy for the DC road.
Yeah, you're just driving down I Street and you get fucking slammed by an APC.
Terrorizing
Insane.
civilians in there. Jesus Christ, man. It's ridiculous. But switching gears a little bit on I guess a more serious note, Trump needs the public to perceive DC crime as being out of control. There needs to be roving gangs of violent youth running through there. People need to think that they can't walk on the streets without getting rocks thrown at them and racial epithets thrown at them, like Benny Johnson. What happens to him whenever he walks through any DC neighborhood all the time, right?
Of course.
People need to think that's what's going on. People need to think the city is out of control and that law enforcement can't handle it. Nobody, in fact, could handle it because it's just so bad and so dangerous to be able to accurately or adequately manufacture consent for what is a military occupation in an American city.
Exactly. And when this crime is so bad, if you seek refuge in one of the many Smithsonian museums, you'll walk in and you'll see a giant plaque that says white people bad.
Yeah, exactly.
According to Jillian Michaels on fucking CNN last week.
According to Jillian Michaels on CNN and according to Trump on Truth Social when he said the Smithsonian focused too much on slavery. I wonder why.
I wonder if that was a crucial part of American history.
I wonder if that's a significant part of how not only America's economy was propped up, but the world's economy was propped up. And I wonder if the system of American slavery was uniquely evil or not.
Yeah, and Doug, the thing, fucking Jillian Michaels on CNN, the thing that got me was, of course, her saying that white people didn't do slavery.
Yeah.
The white people exclusively didn't do slavery. We shouldn't blame white people. But then she was also she was talking some shit about Cuba. Did you see the clip?
No, I didn't see the Cuba part.
She was saying that Cuba, people had to flee Cuba because white people bad. That's what the Smithsonian says. She posted on Twitter a picture of an exhibit later to try to prove her point. And the plaque just said the United States did a bunch of interventions in Latin America and that caused northward migration. And Objective Truth says nothing about white people bad. It says that we were imperialists in Latin America. In Objective Truth,
something that the CIA has a stat sheet on. Something that the CIA takes pride in.
All this shit is declassified now.
Yeah,
you can just find it yourself. It's just these people have to water down. They have to whitewash history and water down their critique so much just to white people bad because that's the only way they can get people to believe it.
Oh yeah, they just have to lie. They just have to lie about that. They have to lie about fucking everything, and they have to lie about DC crime statistics because, like we said, DC crime is at this 30-year low. That's what all the published reports are telling us. That's what all of the sources are saying. There's an obvious mismatch between the narrative that Trump and his administration are trying to push and what the reality on the ground is, right? The numbers are actively fighting against his ability to gain popular support for the occupation. So when you have a hard time manufacturing consent, when what you're saying isn't working, you got to take a step back and start manufacturing numbers. You got to just start. You got to go backwards. You know what I'm saying? And so Trump's DOJ is launching a formal investigation of DCPD to determine if they manipulated crime statistics to make them appear lower. And for additional credibility, the investigation is being launched out of Judge Janine's office.
Oh, of course it is.
Yes, it
well,
is.
I'm going to believe anything that comes from that.
Well,
then.
of course, she's cool. Part of when I brought up the new lawsuit information that came out about one of the Fox News defamations, part of the stuff that came out were emails, and there's an email from Judge Janine talking about how she feels like she's done so much for the Republican Party. She's the most viewed conservative on the weekends, which is come on now, you're already pushed on the weekend. You're not prime time.
Yeah,
you're not prime time. That's already crazy. Calm down a little bit. And she also said something about her husband being pardoned. She was complaining that she does so much for the movement, but she wasn't rewarded with her husband being pardoned.
What did her husband do?
I think it was tax evasion.
Oh, well,
but eventually he did get pardoned on Trump's way out.
Oh, well, there you go. Oh, man, that's so funny. Yeah,
and now she's got a job.
It's so obvious these people are just in it for themselves.
They're just in it for personal gain. They just want power, or they just want to cosplay having power without having to do anything and then live out their fucking sick fantasies of arresting minorities and keeping them in jail forever.
Yeah, so not only have they just completely lied about crime now going down over a 9-day period, but like JD Vance said on Fox News, burglaries are down 55% or whatever compared to when, who knows, based on what, who knows. But now they're going to be manufacturing the numbers entirely.
Oh, exactly. Now, instead of the statistics, which currently have said crime is at a 30-year low and it continues to decrease over time, now we're just going to get a report that concludes that the DCPD was woke. DCPD was woke and crime is actually 1 billion. What crime is 1 billion? I don't know, but that's what it's going to be. Crime 1 billion, job 1 billion.
Crime was 1 billion, and then the National Guard went in, and then crime was 0. Literally no robberies, no murders, nothing like that whatsoever. Just one guy got T-boned somehow.
Exactly, but that's legal though. But that's legal, and it's okay because it was the National Guard, and they said sorry.
Well, that's the cost of being free. Sometimes you got to take one for the team and get hit by a military.
Some people just aren't ready for democracy. You know what I'm saying? Some people just aren't ready for it, and they need a strong man to tell them what's going on. And that's pretty cool. And it's there's no guesswork involved in this idea that Trump is going to lie about the numbers because that's what they've already been doing. That's the narrative he was already trying to tell even prior to launching an investigation. Usually reasonable people launch an investigation and then make conclusions. And then when the investigation comes out with their conclusion, they go, okay, this is what's going on. People that you believe or that you should believe don't say one thing, launch an investigation, and then, spoiler alert, the investigation reveals what they already thought all the way.
Well, but what if my reasoning is motivated, though?
Could be.
And I need justification.
Well, just like Trump's reasoning, because about the investigation, he said on Truth Social, quote, DC gave fake crime numbers in order to create a false illusion of safety. This is a very bad and dangerous thing to do, and they are under serious investigation for so doing. Until 4 days ago, Washington, D.C. was the most unsafe city in the United States and perhaps the world. Now, in a short period of time, it is perhaps the safest and getting better every single hour.
Come on, dude. You got to be fucking stupid to believe any of this. Legitimately.
Strictly fash. That's you could change a couple select words in there, and if you told me Hitler said it, I would believe you.
Yeah.
No reasonable person, no reasonable administration that actually wants to solve things needs to do the whole best worst distinction to get their point across. It's just he needs to desperately exaggerate how bad any situation is in order to create a justification for how exaggerated his response will be to correct that bad thing.
Yeah, and I'm just I understand how the process of manufacturing consent works. I get that people will fall victim to propaganda through no fault of their own, but if you see this and you believe it, there might not be any hope for you, man.
No, literally, and because they are just doing it backwards.
It's just it doesn't pass the smell test. It was the most dangerous city. It was an active war zone, and then 3 days later, I sent in the National Guard, and it's the safest city in the world. Come on,
exactly.
It doesn't even make sense.
It's just like how Trump says border at 0.
Yeah,
0 illegal immigrants cross the border ever now, and that's because of me. And now they want to paint the wall black.
Oh my God, dude.
And now Kristi Noem is doing a press conference in front of the border wall saying we're going to paint the border wall black so that it can be hotter.
I'm starting to think that Trump actually might hate Kristi Noem and he's giving her the most degrading task to take care of.
Well, now cosplay Kristi can get another costume. she can pull up there with the paint sprayer while she's painting the border wall.
She's going to have the painter's apron on. Yeah. She's going to have the Bob Ross palette. Hell yeah, dude.
Absolutely. She's going to have those white overalls on that have got the little paint marks on them. Mm-hmm. Oh, she'll love it too.
Oh my
And she'll feel like
God.
she's really doing something. She left running a state to do this.
And it's just like, first of all, I don't know how many millions of dollars of paint that's going to cost. But even putting that aside, like it's a metal wall sitting in the sun.
Yeah,
and it's already a dark red. You don't need to paint it.
Like you think the black's gonna make it that much hotter?
Yeah.
And it's like they're talking about it's so tall no one can climb, and no one can climb, and it's so low that no one can dig under, and now we're gonna make it hot so no one can climb. I thought they couldn't climb it already.
Just a way.
I thought they already couldn't get up there.
They got to keep her busy somehow. They got to keep giving her new costumes, otherwise she gets bored and shoots another dog.
I wonder what she's going to get put on next.
Yeah.
It's like she went from coming to Michigan to talk with John James about like, oh, actually, there's a lot of crime that's coming in from the northern border.
Canada, yeah.
There's a whole lot of crime that gets imported from Canada, and nobody's actually ever talking about this. To we're going to paint the southern border black to make it hot so that people don't want to touch it.
Just the most.
Motherfucker, if you're climbing the border wall, aren't you bringing like a big ladder anyway? I don't know. Are you getting up there with your fucking hands? If you're already doing that, are you not going to climb it at night?
People aren't crossing the border illegally by climbing a border wall. They fly on a plane.
They fly on
into
a plane.
the United States on a visa, then overstay it.
They're in a truck. It's at normal ports of entry.
Or the people that are undocumented immigrants in the country right now have been here for 30 years. And they've worked jobs and they've participated in community.
Complied with ICE in their annual check-ins every year that they've been here.
Exactly.
And then you ambush them at the courthouse.
Like the understanding that Republicans have of illegal immigration is just so fucking cartoonish.
Well, Doge took money from childhood cancer research so that we could pay for black paint on the border wall.
Important. Very important. Money well spent, time well spent, resources well allocated.
And that's what the Trump administration is. That's what they're all about, baby. And it's good. But getting back to DC, and DC crime statistics specifically, I do want to take a moment and say this isn't necessarily like out of the blue, the idea that crime statistics may be kind of manufactured. In May, a DCPD commander was put on administrative leave over allegations by the police union that he was artificially lowering crime numbers. The police union alleged that supervisors and departments have been manipulating crime data by like classifying crimes in a misleading manner to avoid contributing to the most abrasant violent crime categories.
Yeah.
But when the police union substantiates this with quotes like the following, I find it hard to believe, on top of police unions already being awful, horrible, abysmal organizations to begin with. When you're trying to say that crime is actually super high, we've been doing an investigation, we've been gathering evidence, and then this is what you deliver to the press as part of your evidence, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
The police union spokesperson said, what our members know is that we go call to call to call out on the streets at night, going from robbery to carjacking to stabbing to shooting. And we know that crime is ubiquitous and it's all in every quadrant of the city. So to have people tell us, well, crime is down, you shouldn't be worried about that. That's not the reality that we feel in the streets. Once again, just like on Monday, this is a vibes-based argument.
Yep. Like, oh, you're presenting statistical evidence? Well, how about my anecdote?
Exactly. No, I don't believe that because I go from shooting to 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 shooting every night.
I don't believe that because I'm scared at my job. Guys, I'm so scared every time I clock in. Like, it's just, well, it's like, it's your job to go to these calls, but you being on the ground going to these calls, like, 15 in a night or whatever, doesn't mean that they're representative of the city as a whole.
Exactly. Like, your job is to actually engage with this. Your job is to engage with this facet of society. Of course, you're going to see it more. Mm-hmm. That's what you do. In fact, you are the sole body that interfaces with these things.
Yeah, it'd be like if I thought, like, oh, of course, everyone has a podcast.
Exactly.
Because I do it.
That's like when I worked at the lab, I do experiment after experiment after experiment. I go from PCR to computer to microscope back to PCR all in one day. Fucking praise me.
Yeah, and you want to tell me that the rat population is up? Are you kidding me right now?
It's ridiculous, man. And you expect me to believe that just stabbing after stabbing after stabbing. You're answering like 15 of these calls a night? What is this, ready or not? What are you doing, playing the fucking game, man?
Playing that game has made me understand. No, this dude's actually fucking crazy.
Exactly. I can't believe anything you say when this is how you talk about the issue. Because reasonable people don't talk about the issue. And it's like, but why even bring this up? That's probably what you're thinking. Why even give credence to the idea that DCPD numbers or whatever could be manufactured? There's no amount of like nuance that can be said about this issue. There's no amount of diving into it that can obfuscate what the Trump administration has taken this scenario and twisted it into. And I bring this up to point out exactly that, because it's like, we can't even begin to have conversations about if the DCPD maybe did artificially lower numbers for some fucking reason, even though it doesn't make sense for cops to really ever artificially lower numbers, because the higher the crime is, the more money that they get and the better jobs they get, better pension, whatever the fuck. Like, it's usually 9 out of 10 times it is in the best interest of the police for crime to be high so they can justify their own existence.
Yeah.
And that's why this police union is acting in the way that it does. You know what I'm saying? Could there be a situation where crime being lower is better for police? Sure. Sure, there possibly could be. But like, we can't have a discussion about the nuances really behind anything in the Trump administration, because they have perverted every fucking facet of government and replaced every official with a loyalist who is going to tell Trump whatever he wants to hear, who's going to publish whatever numbers Trump wants to hear, that nothing that comes out of the government anymore can be regarded as true.
Yeah, it's real end of an empire type shit. Like,
exactly.
Like, if we can't believe literally anything the government says after a long history of at least being able to treat the numbers they post as some kind of reliable or verifiable, I don't know what we're supposed to do with that.
Yes.
Like, we just can't trust government data at all now.
Under any other administration, you tell me that a DC police chief got fired because maybe they're misrepresenting crime to not contribute to the most violent statistics because there's a political incentive for them to keep crime down in fucking woke city, DC. I won't believe you, one, just because of how I understand issues like this, but I could prepare myself to eat my words.
Yeah.
If an investigation came out under the fucking Biden administration, hell, if an investigation came out under Bush that's what's happening, maybe it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, I guess one isolated incident happened. But under the Trump administration, the stakes are too high to be engaging in levels of like nuance with them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially because like there was a spike in crime rates and violent crime rates in DC in 2023, and we can acknowledge that and offer explanations for it too.
Yes.
But we can't like analyze any of the statistics if they're just actively tampered with top down from the Trump administration.
Exactly. Like, Trump is just taking over this thing.
Yeah.
It's just like job numbers. We can't fucking believe job numbers now. And it's also, it really is through every single facet of the government. What was it? Like a couple weeks ago, the EPA said that actually greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide aren't bad for the environment anymore.
Yeah.
And then RFK, like this week, went out and said, RFK Jr., not a doctor, not a scientist, revoked like the CDC's classification of or recommendation for the COVID vaccine for kids.
Yeah.
Without the guidance of like an advisory panel. He just did that.
Because he dissolved the advisory panel on vaccines, didn't he?
He did, but I think there was like another body that he was supposed to consult to be able to like do that and whatnot. You know, science being rigorous and whatnot.
Oh, yeah,
you know, the
course.
process of peer review.
Yeah.
But no, every single administration official, every single executive administration, whatever the fuck the EPA is just coming out here and lying for the sake of Trump, for the sake of his billionaire donors and friends.
Yeah, it's because he's installed, all the people in his cabinet are loyalists or people that previously worked at Fox News.
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire government now.
And it's like, maybe I just like bring this up. Maybe I bring up that bit of nuance just for like my own personal self. Because when I was reading about this, when I was reading about the thing, I was clicking through articles, you know, doing my research, doing my due diligence.
You do what you got to do.
And I found this bit about the police commissioner and whatnot doing this thing. And I thought to myself, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Maybe there's more nuance angle to it. But it doesn't matter. It legitimately does not fucking matter what nuance you can go with this. Because if the original situation was nuanced, whatever. Trump has taken it and extracted anything he possibly can from it, twisted it and perverted it into something else to justify the military occupation of of America's capital.
Yeah.
And that's the more important part about this.
And it's like, even if you can point to maybe some evidence that the statistics aren't representative of the actual crime rate, that still doesn't mean that it's like super duper high.
Exactly.
You still got to prove it, right?
Exactly.
Like, simply disproving one argument doesn't mean that your argument is correct. You got to show some kind of evidence, and they've utterly failed to do that.
That would be fallacious thinking.
Like, again, JD Vance just like asserted that robberies are down 50% in the last 9 days or whatever.
Not citing anything.
Not citing anything, not comparing it to anything. There's no like point that it's relative to it. He's just asserting it.
They keep talking about like, oh, we arrested like 300 people. I think numbers have shown that like half of those people are like immigrants.
Yeah. Well,
it's just what ICE was doing already.
And I mean, they were getting a bunch of people on like DUIs. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course we should be getting people that are drunk driving.
Better watch out.
Yeah, you better have someone else driving him. But like, yeah, we should be getting people that are drunk driving, sure, but why are we allocating the literal military to this?
Exactly. Why are we allocating the FBI to do this? Why are we taking the FBI off of like, I don't know, looking at human trafficking to go do this?
Well, we're taking FBI agents off of scrubbing the Epstein files for Trump's name to now go and arrest people for drunk driving in D.C.
Yeah, the FBI is now just an administration that exists to take Trump's name out of the Epstein files and arrest people in D.C. for throwing sandwiches or some shit. That's all that it is, dude. Like, the truth is died with this government.
Yeah.
You genuinely can't believe anything. There is nothing you can say to convince. Like, if Trump comes out with the most detailed and accurate report, if Trump's DOJ, if Judge Janine comes out here with the most detailed and accurate and perfect report saying that, yes, they lied about crime statistics and blah, 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 I won't believe them.
Yeah.
I won't, because there's no reason to believe them. Even if they were lying about these things, it doesn't justify what Trump's doing. And Trump himself has proved to be the most untrustworthy individual perhaps in the world.
Yeah, and a common thing they use on crime statistics are already incredibly nuanced to begin with.
Yes.
Like, it's not as simple as being like, oh, there were X% of murders, therefore, this is this massive
you mean
epidemic.
it's not as simple as 1350?
Yeah, well, of course
you
not.
mean that's a dog
But, like,
whistle?
they say there was one thing that they kept saying where it was like, crime statistics apparently depend upon the police departments like voluntarily submitting their data. And so in DC, I don't think every police department or like every different police precinct submitted data at the same rate. So like they didn't have a full picture of what was going on. And they used the similar argument, I think a few years ago against New York City, because there was one year where only like 30% of police precincts actually submitted their data. Most recently, it was like 90 something percent. And it showed that crime was going down.
Oh, I love that.
But like, it's like, to your point, it's like, it doesn't matter how many people are reporting. It doesn't matter how rigorous it is. They won't believe it if it doesn't comport with the narrative.
It's so frustrating for a guy like me.
Yeah.
Who wants to engage with nuance.
I like truth.
For a guy like me who likes to look and actually like read around and figure out what's going on and not just like read one article, but perhaps 3, maybe 5.
Maybe use my favorite tool, ground news.
Maybe use my favorite tool, ground news. Maybe use my skills of discernment when I'm reading through something to figure out what is actually happening.
I'm interrogating the sources.
But it doesn't matter because it's already a foregone conclusion. It's already a foregone conclusion that Trump is going to lie.
Yeah.
And that he's going to use those lies to do the worst, most evil thing.
Yeah, not much you can do about it.
No. And while we're talking about the worst, most evil thing, we gotta once again bring up the man who never dies.
The man who never dies. That's Jeffrey Epstein, folks.
Yes.
We simply cannot let this one go. And historically, there were lulls in coverage of the Watergate scandal and similar scandals. So we got to keep up the pressure.
And just speaking of Trump lying.
And speaking of Trump lying, we got to talk about Epstein. So the DOJ missed the deadline to start delivering the Epstein files to the Oversight Committee. But the top Republican on the committee, James Comer, said the files will start to get delivered on Friday, August 22nd.
James Comer, dangerously similar to James Comey, right?
Yeah, no, not the same guy.
Not the same guy, just dangerously similar name.
Just
James Comey, evil, did the Epstein files. James Comer releasing them.
Crazy. So the Oversight Committee is going to start getting the Epstein files soon, some version of them, apparently on a rolling basis. So we're just dragging this out.
Yeah.
Part of me is like cool with that. But I'm also wondering, death of truth type shit. Can we even believe any document they give over to the House?
I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to believe any document that doesn't have Trump's name on it. Like, it's just like, because it's like, the thing about Epstein is it's either a thing that was prolific and covered everyone who was rich and powerful, or it was just a conspiracy theory. And these rich and powerful people did just engage with him on the basis of him being a power broker, not a pedophile.
Yeah.
There is no world where it's just Democrats on the list.
Well, that was Ezra Klein's understanding of the issue at first. It was just that he was a power broker and a pedophile, and those were separate parts of his life. They never crossed over because why would they? Evil people don't do bad things.
Of course, never. Powerful people never engage in bad things.
I just we know that they're doing redactions. There was that one story from, I think, the Wall Street Journal that Trump had FBI agents intentionally scrubbing his name from the Epstein files. We know that they've lied about the footage. They continue to lie about the footage. We know there's been internal strife among people like Dan Bongino and stuff like that. I have no reason to believe that they're going to release anything that means anything.
Yeah.
Unless they do the thing where it's like, look, all these Democrats were on the list.
Which it's like, that's just like, okay, yeah, I know Trump was on there.
Yeah.
If you give me a list that has Bill Clinton and not Trump, I know Trump was there.
Yeah.
If you give me a list that doesn't have Bill Clinton, I know Trump was there and Bill Clinton was there. And Prince Andrew was there.
It's gonna be Bill Clinton. It's gonna be Barack Obama. The Weeknd, Jack Schlossberg. It's gonna be
Able to spy.
They're not. It's gonna be a bunch of people that weren't even old enough to be there. Jasmine Crockett was there.
Shit, they're gonna put you
as
on
a perpetrator. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, fucked up, man.
So I have a hard time believing, especially because and I don't usually think like this because there's this trope that goes around where it's like, if you got nothing to worry about, or if you're not hiding anything, then you got nothing to worry about with like state overreach, right?
Yeah.
But like Trump would not be acting this way if there's too much smoke for there to not be a fire, man. It's just the way he's responded is crazy.
It's not just the way he's responded. It's like also the other pieces of information that have leaked. It's like you said, it's what the Wall Street Journal thing saying FBI agents are scrubbing his name.
Yeah.
And it's also the birthday card.
The birthday card, all the pictures that Trump is in like inside of Epstein's apartment or whatever.
If it turned out that you were like some secret murderer, you've been just a prolific serial killer running rampage throughout Michigan for the last 4 years. And I was sending you birthday cards that were like, yeah, man, I love sharing it. I love sharing a secret with you. Like, what else would that secret be? I think it's reasonable to assume that the secret is, in fact, the secret that you were keeping.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, especially because he keeps calling it a hoax. There's no Epstein files. There are Epstein files, but they were doctored by the Democrats to make me look bad. Like, what does that suggest?
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're going to get out of this committee.
Bill Clinton put his name on the Epstein files to own Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then didn't release him. So I don't know. More recently, though, Pam Bondi announced that she will be installing a co-deputy director of the FBI alongside Dan Bongino.
Bro got demoted.
This is no co-director or co-deputy director.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're introducing a co-manager that's gonna have just like more responsibility than you.
2 people for 1 job. Peak efficiency in this government. This is the first time there's ever been a co-deputy director of the FBI.
It's just because they can't fire him because he got mad at them.
Yeah.
Like, that's all this is. Dan Bongino's going to get... If anybody blows the whistle on this administration, it's going to be Dan Bongino. Mm-hmm. I'm convinced now because the reports are already coming out that he was pissed. That he's been leaving these White House meetings.
He yelled at Pam Bondi in that meeting.
Upset. He's been yelling at Pam Bondi. He's been publicly disagreeing with how Pam Bondi and Trump and the administration has been handling the release of the Epstein files and just everything about the Epstein files. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then bro gets like fired without getting fired.
Yeah. He gets somebody else has your same exact position. This person they're hiring, his name is Andrew Bailey. He's the current Missouri Attorney General. I don't really know anything about this guy. Apparently he was somebody they were considering to be the head of the FBI initially, but Trump didn't like him and wanted somebody more fantastical like Kash Patel, I guess. But now this guy is coming into the government and he's sharing a job with Dan Bongino.
That's so crazy because like Dan Bongino already got Lil Bro'd by being the deputy director of the FBI.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just got worse now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're sharing a job that's already kind of like,
yeah.
You're not even a bigwig.
Do you remember that even before the Epstein stuff, Dan Bongino was like complaining back in, I want to say it was like March or something like that. He was complaining that he had so much like desk work and paperwork to do. He was like, every day I have to show up and just stare at these 4 walls. And
yeah.
It's like, that's having a job.
He's like, I have to go to work and I can't spend time with my family. Yeah, buddy. Welcome back to not being a podcaster, I guess.
That's just the way it works, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So we know Dan Bongino's not happy to have to work.
Of course not.
And he's definitely not happy that the reason he has been advocating for Trump, the release of the Epstein files and similar issues, that shit's just not happening.
See, me too. You know, critical support to my podcasting coworker.
Exactly, yeah. Solidarity in these key moments. So that's Dan Bongino. Definitely going to get released from the administration at some point. But I think they're just probably biding their time.
They're not releasing him because they don't want him to go spill. Mm-hmm. Like, that's it.
They're going to kill him.
I can't remember like what the turn of it is, but he's got a nothing job.
Yeah.
He's got just a job that exists just to like have somebody there because they can't piss him off. Mm-hmm. Damn, that's so funny.
And then lastly, just yesterday, a judge denied the administration's move to unseal Epstein grand jury records, but for a different reason than you might think. And this is from the opinion. Judge Berman wrote his opinion, quote, "A significant and compelling reason to reject the request is that the government has already undertaken a comprehensive investigation into the Epstein case and, not surprisingly, has assembled a trove of Epstein documents, interviews, and exhibits. That trove of roughly 100,000 pages of files dwarfs the 70-odd pages of Epstein grand jury materials. The government is the logical party to make comprehensive disclosure to the public of the Epstein files."
That's so sick.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we said when Trump first made the move to release the grand jury files, is that they're just hiding behind a judge redacting the information so they don't actually have to do it. And now we have a judge saying they have hundreds of thousands of pages of information. They can release it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that I can tell you that they can't.
Yeah. And like realistically, first of all, getting grand jury testimony revealed is already a pretty rare thing to my understanding. But then on top of that, it's like, yeah, this is 70 pages of what people were saying. You could just release the primary source of this information. Like you have all of it. And you've conducted the review. I don't need to do it. Do it yourself.
So actually, we probably got some of this information from you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this is like the best way this could have gone. Because like you said, they wanted to hide behind a judge saying, no, I'm not going to release this information. And now they can't because the judge said, no, do it yourself.
That's so gas.
Yeah.
But now the FBI has probably had enough time for the fucking 10,000 agents they've directed to get Trump's name out of every document.
Oh, yeah.
Get it out of the document.
I feel like it's just going to be all black lines at this point.
Well, they just hit a wicked Command F and then highlight the black one. Like,
but like, I understand why it's been taking so long if it's 100,000 pages and there's a bunch of videos and stuff like that.
And his name's in there a bunch of times.
His name's in there a bunch of times. And we know that Epstein was the kind of guy to have like random cameras set up all over the place.
Oh.
So I mean, I'm just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions.
I don't know.
I'm not saying allegedly.
I'm
island.
I'm a citizen who wants to know what our political elites have been doing for decades.
I'm a concerned citizen.
That's
all we are here.
That's all I am. That's all I've ever been. So that's Epstein.
The truth.
That's Epstein news.
This episode of Head in the Office is brought to you by Ground News.
Media literacy is a key component of our podcast here, but spotting the biases in news and reporting, especially in our nonstop media landscape, can be hard. Thankfully, the folks over at Ground News are working to make this a lot easier.
Ground News is an app and a website that collects news from all around the world and puts it in one place so you can compare coverage, uncover political biases, and learn who is funding each publication.
Ground News has a lot of cool features, such as the bias distribution, which shows you the political leanings of the sources reporting on each story, and the blind spot tab, which highlights stories that are being missed by either the left or the right. Ground News will even tell you your own news bias based on the articles you've read on their site.
If you're interested in Ground News, you can go to check.ground.news/headintheoffice for 40% off. The link is also in the description. We would suggest taking a look at their Vantage plan to unlock all the fancy features we referenced, and subscribing to Ground News also helps out the show, which we know you all want to do.
Special thanks to Ground News for sponsoring this podcast, and back to the episode. Moving on now to some extra stories. Some stories that couldn't make a full segment in and of themselves. And this first one I want to start with, I was informed of today, as I alluded to at the beginning of the episode, and this shit is rough.
Okay.
So I want all of you to strap in. This is from the New York Times, I believe an article that was published yesterday. And the basis of this story, and I'm not exaggerating here, a new town is being built in rural Arkansas that is explicitly white people only.
Well, isn't that every town in Arkansas?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. But this is a publicity stunt, I think, and we need to read into this. From the New York Times, quote, in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, nearly an hour from the closest city, a small group of homesteaders is building an exclusive community from scratch.
Who fucking calls themselves homesteaders
White
nowadays, except for Nazis? Like,
yeah, you're kind of getting ahead of us. Applicants to the community are screened with an in-person interview, a criminal background check, and a questionnaire about ancestral heritage, and sometimes even photographs of their relatives. He continues, the community's two architects, a classically trained French horn player who has live streamed his own sex videos,
nice,
and a former jazz pianist arrested but not charged for attempted murder in Ecuador, say they must personally confirm that applicants are white before they can be welcomed in.
What the fuck? So we have a criminal.
Well, an alleged criminal.
Well, an alleged criminal.
In Ecuador.
It's just allegedly.
They got nothing on him.
You can't fucking prove anything.
They got nothing on him.
Okay? Screening me for being a criminal and white enough?
Yeah, making sure you're white enough to get into this community. And
of course one of them would be. Oh, wait, no, it's the French horn. He's not necessarily French.
Yeah, no, of course not. The French horn player, also a live streamer. I think he... I believe in what I looked up on him, he does lectures on like Platonic studies, like Plato. He talks about like Greek philosophy and shit, and he's also, of course, just a Nazi. When the New York Times like asked for a tour of this place, they got like a limited look at it. And apparently, this was from the story. There's not a video of this, but the story was that as this dude led in the New York Times reporter, he took Mein Kampf off his shelf and turned it around so you couldn't see the spine of the book. And it's like, that's just beyond parody in it itself, right? Like that, you can't, no way, right?
No way.
Like, no way he's just got Mein Kampf on the shelf and the reporter walks in and he turns it around.
He's, forgot to do this. What the fuck, man? I can't believe people like this actually exist.
Yeah.
How brain broken do you have to be to do this? Like it's this weird mix of brain broken and just sheer determination to be able to build your own all white community.
Yeah, and like of course this is explicitly illegal, right? Like you can't deny people the ability to purchase housing or land or whatever it may be on the basis of the color of their skin. This is explicitly illegal in federal law. But the founders of this community, these two white dudes, said they see this as a prime opportunity because of the current government. Like explicitly, that's why they're doing this right now. And to make it even more corny, this effort is called, quote, return to the land.
Brother, go back to Europe. Mm-hmm. Return to what land, brother?
Return to fucking rural Arkansas.
I'm not even doing like a woke land acknowledgement thing here. Like I'm not even doing the no land is ours under stolen land or whatever the fucking line is. But it's like you're not returning anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And I want you to take a guess at which popular conservative came out in support of these guys.
Pete Hegseth.
No, but that'd be crazy.
That's an educated guess right there.
It was Matt Walsh. Daily Wire's own Matt Walsh came out with a tweet back in July supporting this effort, and he basically said this is a matter of free association. Like this is the government. Oh
my God.
Because the Arkansas government had nothing. Sarah Huckabee Sanders had nothing to say about this, by the way.
Of course.
But it was the attorney general who started an investigation into if this violates federal housing law. Of course, it like explicitly it does.
Yes.
But then Matt Walsh came out and said this is a matter of free association. And this is the thing I have to say about this, because I was doing some reading up on this effort. These guys will hide their desire to discriminate against people of color behind the idea of free association, as Nazis have for quite a long time.
It's
right?
A classic like libertarian trope.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do here. But my point is that this is rural Arkansas. No people of color actually were going to move into this town. Nobody knew about this town.
Yeah.
And nobody in their right mind would have gone and moved into this town.
You could have just built something and not been a dickhead. Sundown towns exist across the country. For worse. Like, it's an awful thing. It's a horrible thing. But, like, it's not... You mean to tell me it's hard to find an all-white community?
Yeah. So they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to make this a whole media campaign that they're doing, but they did. Not because they principally care about free association, but because they think they can get civil rights laws overturned under this administration. Mm-hmm. That's it, right?
Like they feel emboldened.
They want a new precedent to be set that they in their rural town are allowed to discriminate against people of color and make a white-only, ethnically homogenous area so that they can go and do this in much larger, more populated areas. That's the only goal, right? Because where does it stop? If a judge rules that they are allowed to exclude from living in this area people of color, then what stops a landlord from saying, oh, I want this to be an all-white tenant building?
No, literally, then you can just develop any land and it's just all white now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. And then that land eventually becomes a city that a black person can't step foot in.
And it's like, you have a right to free association, right? Like the government can't force you to be friends with a black person. But if you want to be a landowner, if you want to have property rights, you can't deny access to purchase that property or rent that property or whatever on the basis that somebody isn't a white person.
Well, it's like libertarians love to go online, and I guess now in the real world under the Trump administration, and hide behind the principle of free association and the non-aggression principle as ways to like be nerds about why they think the Civil Rights Act should be repealed.
Yeah.
And that's it. They just want to say, you can't force me to associate with black people or whatever. You can't force me to allow black people to come into my business, or you can't force someone to serve black people in their business because that violates free association, that violates non-aggression. But it's like, you are in like opening a business in modern society, or like doing anything, in participating in modern society, you are taking the benefits that come with that.
Yeah.
You are participating in a society and you are getting the benefits that the participation comes with. And libertarians want to take everything that society will give them without giving anything back to society or playing by the rules that society has set out for them. They're the fucking toddlers on the playground that want to play the game but be invincible when it's their turn to get hit.
Yeah, no, free association to them just means the right to discriminate against people that I don't like.
Yeah.
Against the undesirables. And yeah, like you said, if you want to be in a position where you get to make a bunch of fucking money being a business owner, then you shouldn't get to discriminate against people on based on the color of their skin if they want to buy your products, rent from you, whatever it might be.
You can't pick and choose what like laws apply to you. You know what I mean? You can't become a business owner and then you can't become a business owner, say I am going to deny all of my services to black people or other racial and sexual minorities, and then get mad when somebody robs you.
So real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just pick and choose what laws apply. I condemn theft and racism.
Yeah. I feel like property rights got to come with some responsibility too.
Yeah.
And that's just like a capitalist understanding of it. Like I don't fuck with property rights. You know what I mean? Not in like the capitalist bourgeois
Not
sort
in
of
the
way.
cop way.
Exactly. But like, I mean, I don't know. If you're going to start a business, if you're going to own land, especially if you're going to own like essential resources like housing that people need to live, then we can't have a precedent set that like you are able to discriminate against people because we know how that works. We know how it's worked historically. The historically marginalized groups will be forced into worse areas and through no fault of their own will have a worse quality of life. Yeah. That's how it worked before. It's how it would work now. And the argument that these guys make in part is like, I want free association for myself, which means white only community. And I'm fine with other groups doing that too. But we know that other groups don't do that. And to the extent, like you go to like Dearborn, Michigan, they're not going to be like, you're white, you can't live here. You know what I mean? Like, and if they did, I would be like, that's wrong.
Yes.
Like you shouldn't be able to deny somebody access to anything on the basis of their skin color. It just doesn't make sense.
It's wrong and fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like the law is like our best attempt at codifying morality, right? That's why we get together as a society and we say, you shouldn't steal from other people. That's bad. We're going to put laws against stealing. The same way, like racism is bad. We think that's bad. We're going to try our best, we're not there yet, to put laws in place that like stop the worst, most negative effects of racism when it comes to discrimination in fucking housing, in business, in schooling, in wherever. You can't just like pick and choose. It is completely fine to get together as a society and say, these are the rules that you have to play by if you want to participate in what we got going on here as a broader society. You can't pick and choose between those rules and expect to get like the benefits. These people should be ostracized.
Oh yeah, should be ostracized big time. And these people, these kinds of people are the reason that like we had to have the military force them to integrate at gunpoint.
Yes.
Like because we did, right? Like I can't remember the exact group, but it was like the something airmen had to make sure that schools in the South integrated at gunpoint because the kids weren't being allowed in. Yeah. And like they're trying to do the shit again because they think the government is amenable to what they want to do.
And I mean, when you have Pete Hegseth out here endorsing priests who have a CNN profile that say that women should not vote at all whatsoever, like I think it's not a stretch to say that these people feel some type of way. Trump has emboldened the worst people in society. Yeah. And that's not even like a stretch. Like if you go to any normal person and say, what do you think about a guy who wants to start a white only community? They're going to be like, oh, that's fucked up. What do you mean? Yeah, but that's the kind of people that conservatives are catering to. Yeah, and I don't want a new precedent set that's like actually redlining is cool. Yes, you actually can do that. We're bringing it back. Yeah, we've actually been through that, and it's bad. So that's some just like bad, depressing news. We don't fuck with that. Let's talk about some hopeful news. Oh. Because we got a new exciting candidate out of the state of Maine, the purple state of Maine, and I feel like maybe we should talk about it. We should. And I'm hoping I don't get Fettermaned again. But it is a big worry. Especially these guys that like do the like blue collar aesthetic now. It's like I don't know. There's been a stereotype planted in my mind that they're gonna fucking. Something's going to happen to them, and all of a sudden they're going to be Israel's strongest ally. Yeah, so we are worried about that. But Graham Planter is a progressive, not Planter. Graham Plattner is a progressive running for Senate in Maine against Susan Collins. He's running in the primary right now, of course. He says he's for Medicare for all. He says he's anti-oligarchy. He says he's anti-Zionist. We'll see how good of a candidate he is. It's pretty early on. He just announced his campaign. It's not even 2026 yet. But I feel like this might be a sort of judge me by my enemies scenario because most likely the Democratic establishment pick is the current Maine governor, Janet Mills, a 77-year-old man. A 77-year-old who condemned Portland, Maine's BDS attempt last year. Come on, man. 77? Yeah. That's my guess. That should be disqualifying. Yeah, man, like we're at a moment when Democrats are just so viciously unpopular, but they keep acting like if it's not broke, don't fix it. And it's like, it's broke, dude. It's so broke. It's been broke for a while. You can see the pieces are all over the floor right now. It's so broke. And you're just not picking them up. Yeah, there was a New York Times thing that just came out that was like, Democrats are really struggling with voter registration right now compared to like 2020. Like Republicans are winning the voter registration game. And it's like, dog, shit is broken. You need to embrace progressive candidates, and the fact that you're not is the problem. And it's like all I'm hearing out of you guys is actually Israel's our friend. and we should give our friend a hug.
Yeah, it's like we're going to oppose Trump's legislative agenda unless they attach like $100 billion in funding for Israel, then we'll vote for it.
Exactly.
Like these Medicaid cuts cannot pass, but we do need to fund Israel, so like maybe.
So like, come on, like let's do it. Let's just go ahead, man. It's fucked up. Once again, Israel polling at 7% within the Democratic Party, and like 96% of Democrats in Congress are like, yeah, we fucking love Israel.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where I'm wondering if like maybe people should run with the Democratic Socialist label in like purple areas. Because it's like you would prove that you're not with the Democratic Party, but you also clearly would not be running on the side of the Republicans. So I wonder if it'd be like a boon at this point.
God, wouldn't that be so sick?
Because usually I think it just alienates
and
people. But
that's what just worked in NYC.
It did work in NYC.
That's what just worked in New York City.
It worked in New York City, and this guy's kind of being propped up as like maybe he can do this Iran thing, but in Maine for the Senate.
Is that how Abdul's running?
Abdul's not running as a Democratic Socialist.
No, he's just running as a Democrat, right?
Yeah.
But he's very progressive.
Yeah, he's a very progressive guy.
He could run as a Democratic Socialist if he wanted to, but
yeah,
he's not shying away from being a progressive.
Yeah,
and at the very least, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, he literally wrote a book about Medicare for all.
He did. He did do that, and that's, guys, we need progressives.
If Haley Stevens wins, I'll lose all hope, dude.
Oh,
she sucks so bad, dude.
Even if like Mallory wins, it's like, come on. If Mallory wins, it's like, come on, but I understand.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. If Haley Stevens wins.
Well, Mallory just went on a like a talk radio show, a Michigan-based talk radio show, and she was like, Israel and Michigan, they have a deep connection with one
What the fuck is she talking about?
She was saying we have like deep business connections between the two areas. Like we can get innovation from Israel and Israel can get business from Michigan. And I was like, dude, that sucks.
That sucks a bit. And didn't she refuse to call it a genocide?
Yeah.
For the sake of the argument. Another Michigan podcast has been interviewing these candidates. Huge, big on that. You should go check it out.
Yeah.
She refused to call it a genocide on there, but was like, yeah, kids starving sucks. Which it's like, once again, proving what I was talking about the other day, that like, it's really easy to not cross the line of kids starving is good. And everybody's gonna say kids starving is bad, but nobody's gonna fucking think further and actually like do anything about it or change their fucking position about it. And that's why the tent's kind of shaky.
Yeah, the tent is very shaky, and it's like if you don't see the kids starving as a logical extension of 2 years of a military offensive, then like I don't know, man.
And when you don't see Ben Gvir being like, starve them.
yeah. You translate a Ben Gvir quote from Hebrew. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's wicked.
Dude is maybe the most evil man alive.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's something I can't repeat. Like,
and Ben Gvir's a member of Netanyahu's like war cabinet, man.
God, they also like, and Haley Stevens is AIPAC's strongest soldier in Michigan right now.
Yeah, she really is.
She's AIPAC's strongest soldier, man. And Mallory Gamaro apparently not too far behind.
I don't know. I don't even think
she's not taking like AIPAC money, but spiritually.
I think it's just love of the game for her, quite honest. Like I don't know what the position. I don't think she's getting that much money from AIPAC or anything like that. You think it's just
like an addiction to like messaging?
Well, because she's a state senator right now.
Yeah.
So it's like she hasn't held a national position before. I don't know how much AIPAC is involved in like state by state races. Maybe they are.
When her funding came out, she wasn't taking AIPAC money. I don't think she was taking much corporate PAC money. It was a little bit. I know Abdul was taking zero.
Well, because
he's a dog. He's the fucking goat. He's the best one in the race.
I'm just so curious how this race is going to shake out, dude. We desperately need to change.
It has to be Abdul. Like, it has to be Abdul, man. And then that would make my case against Elissa Slotkin even better when we have Abdul voting for good things and Elissa Slotkin going on Colbert to avoid voting.
Insane Senate delegation we're sending to D.C. from the state of Michigan, dude.
Some people just, I guess, are addicted to being moderates. Much like Kamala Harris.
Much like Kamala Harris.
Because Kamala Harris is going on a book tour. And what I got to say off top is when conservatives lose elections, they take rights away from minorities in the places they do control. When liberals lose elections, they write book and then make money off writing book.
Losing an election for a liberal is a very lucrative endeavor.
They feel bad about themselves and write book. That's what we get. The two things liberals are good at is losing elections and profiting off the book about losing an election. That's where we are, man.
Maybe they'd almost prefer to lose so they could write book.
That's what I'm thinking, because when a liberal loses, they can write book right then. When a liberal wins, they have to wait like 8 years to write a book.
Yeah,
and that's no fun.
It must have been hell for Karine Jean-Pierre waiting to write her book.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Or maybe it wasn't.
No, because she wouldn't have had a position. It's candidates love losing because they can write book, but like the people under them like winning because they can write book later. I swear to God, Democrats are just in politics to write book, man. And that's what we got here with Kamala Harris and her stupid fucking 107 Days book.
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid, man. It's oh my God, dude. I don't even know where to begin. One, I'm glad people told us about public libraries. I'm glad I forgot about those so that we can eventually check it out and read it for free. But it's just, I don't fuck with it.
We're going to be on a wait list for like a year.
Yeah, we might have to just
book.
pirate it.
No, I wouldn't do
I
that.
would never do that.
That's a crime.
I would never do it. I would never infringe on someone's intellectual property rights, especially not someone that I don't like.
You know, to some extent, like obviously Kamala Harris writing a book about herself losing is pretty shameless.
Yeah.
It's a thing that candidates have done in the past after losing a presidential race, but like it's pretty shameless. But at the same time, she is just taking money from liberals, and I kind of gotta give her applause for that.
Yeah,
right?
no, absolutely. Absolutely, that is good. But she might be taking money from me if I have to buy this fucking book.
Somebody upload a PDF version.
You please, somebody upload a PDF version. But she's going on a book tour. Coincidentally, she's not stopping in Michigan.
Oh, she's afraid of us.
I think Pennsylvania and Georgia are the only swing states that she's stopping at, which it's like you don't want to face your loss.
Who organized this?
I don't know. It's an international one. She's going to Toronto and London. Like what they got to do with American elections?
Like London, the United Kingdom?
Like the United Kingdom, London.
Come on, dude.
It's not even like we have like a Paris, fucking Texas. No, it's London, UK, and Toronto, Ontario. What the fuck they got to do? You're writing a book about your loss in the American election. Why do other people care about that?
Oh man, I don't know. This shit is just like so scummy. It's just so nauseating.
It's nauseating, and back to like not agreeing with the premise of this book. It's like I got a quote from the NBC article I read about it. During these special events, Harris will. This is from like the tour promotion. During these special events, Harris will share what she saw, what she learned, and what it will take to move forward.
Oh my God.
I highly doubt there's going to be any I don't know, decent, factual, good analysis on why she lost the fucking election. It is just going to be feeling bad about themselves.
Yeah.
There is going to be a part of the book that's just like, yeah, shit, look at what the Trump administration is doing. That's bad, guys, right? We should run against Trump in 2028 again.
Do you think it'll be that? Because like I know she's keeping it open for 2028, but I wonder.
Oh, she is keeping it open for 2028. Two sources close to Harris told NBC News last month she was looking into keeping an option open for running for president again in 2028.
Yeah, like obviously, right? Like she's not running for California governor. Obviously, she's going to be running for president again. I wonder what this book is going to contain. Because have you seen the inscription of the book?
No.
I just pulled up the book's page on the publisher's page. There's an inscription on the book that it's got right here. This is like an about section. I don't know if this is going to be in the book itself, but this is in italics, so I'm guessing it's like pulled from the book, right? It says, "Your Secret Service code name is Pioneer."
Shut the fuck up, dude. What?
You are the first woman in history to be elected Vice President of the United States. On July 21, 2024, your running mate Joe Biden announces he will not be seeking re-election. The presidential election will occur on November 5th, 2024. You have 107 days.
This is not for me. This book is not for me, man. I can't stand that. That's so fucking... I bet that's like the first couple lines, right?
It's got to be. That's what my thought was. And then it says, written with candor and a unique perspective and the pace of a page-turning novel. 107 days takes you inside the race for the presidency as no one has ever done before. Man, this is going to be we might have to dedicate a whole episode to this.
We will. I'm going to buy the book. I can't lie. Or I'm going to go sit in Barnes & Noble in one of those chairs and read it without paying for it.
Yeah, this to me is like bigger than the Jake Tapper book.
It is. Because, yeah, absolutely bigger.
Because Biden's gone, right?
There was barely anything Jake Tapper could have said that we didn't know already other than like to the extent with which the thing covered up. But like we already got the interviews with the people who ran his campaign, blah, blah, blah.
And
blah,
Biden already lost. Like he's not a variable on the political scene anymore.
And like this is going to be a book from the perspective of her ghostwriter that she told.
I just feel like I feel like there's gonna be so much gold in here, dude.
I think so. There's gonna be so many. This might be a 2-episoder.
Like this, I feel like there's gonna be so much in there just that's gonna take my breath away.
Your Secret Service career name is Pioneer. Why are you starting the book like that? Why are you starting the book like that with a Pioneer? You lost.
Yeah.
Yes, it was cool that she was the first female vice president. That is a cool thing. That's genuinely accomplishment. Fucking step up for the country. Blah blah blah. Whatever. You sucked and lost. What did you actually pioneer? You were the vice president. That's a do-nothing job.
Yeah, it's unfortunately a do-nothing job. And like we got to start being honest about that because JD Vance goes on vacation all the time.
Exactly.
JD Vance is never working. And like to be fair, he's got nothing to do. Except go to Union Station and be a little fast.
Exactly. He can go to the Senate and break a couple ties, I guess. But those don't even happen anymore.
No, there's no more bills. There's no more legislation that's happening.
One, there's no more bills, and two, they just have the Senate. It's not even like it's a 50-50 thing like Kamala Harris. So I guess, to be fair, maybe she worked a little harder than other vice presidents.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she did get tossed the immigration thing, which was genuinely a mean thing, a mean-spirited thing for Biden to do. Just give him your worst issue. Give her your worst issue.
You think there's going to be a chapter in here like admiring Biden?
For sure. No way. There's no way anything in this book is gonna like break from the reasons that she lost.
But that's what I'm saying, because it's like I'm intrigued by this line that like part of it's going to be what she saw, what she learned, and what it will take to move forward. What is Kamala Harris's prescription for the Democratic Party moving forward?
Yeah.
It's not going to be what is actually like playing out right now, where like Israel is going to be something that candidates on the 2028 debate stage have to address. Like straight up, like after there was a political piece that came out this week. Maybe we should talk about this more next week, like on the Monday show, if it's slow or not. But like there's a political piece that came out talking about how like Pete responded to the backlash. Part of it's the backlash that we gave him. I hope he saw it.
Hell yeah,
the video did get like 300,000 views.
300,000 views on TikTok. We know he saw it.
He had to have seen it, right? We were on fucking Don Lemon. Like, whatever.
It was big time now.
Either way. And Pete like had to contend with this idea that like, okay, people aren't happy with Israel right now. And then he did some consultant doublespeak about how like, oh yes, you know, the moment is just too big for the language that I used there. And unfortunately, the language didn't convey what I actually meant about how things are bad. And he somewhat revised his stance, but he revised his stance of Israel's a friend and we need to give our friend a hug when they do something horrible and atrocious and awful and evil, to what Elissa Slotkin said, which is we have to address aid on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, is a lot of liberals and like the fucking Pod Save America dudes do this too, where they act like using the word genocide or calling it a genocide is just a matter of the language that we use to talk about these issues, right?
Yeah.
Like they think that when we get upset with a politician for not using the word genocide, is just us getting mad that they aren't using rhetoric that is sufficiently progressive enough. When that's not it at all.
Yeah.
It's a basic litmus test. Are you an honest actor, and do you have a moral compass? And if you can't see the genocide for what it is, if you can't clearly be against the atrocities that we're complicit in right now, then your morality is so out of whack that you don't deserve public office. It has nothing to do with if your rhetoric is woke enough for us to be okay with you or for us to vibe with you. It's all about if you see the world for what it really is.
Yes.
And if you can't do that, then I'm sorry, like, what are we doing here?
And it's like, you shouldn't be able to get away with responding to backlash of your claims that Israel's a friend of you, give a friend a hug, by going on and saying, but yeah, like maybe on a case-by-case basis, I would vote to send arms to Israel, but we shouldn't engage in 10-year arms deals. We shouldn't be in 10 years arms deals with like fucking anybody.
Yeah, no, exactly.
What?
But it's like, it's not a case of language failing you. It's a case of you can't find the words to defend Israel and also seem palatable to the majority of the base right now.
You can't be morally clear on this issue because there are either people who you were in cahoots with, there are either people who are funding you that are pro-Israel, that are Zionists, or you still want to try and like feign being this like moderate who can see all sides of everything, and so you never want to take a position on something so that you don't alienate anybody.
Yeah.
But the only people that are alienated by this like by your statements on Israel are the majority of the party, the 93% of Democrats that do not like what's going on right now and don't see a single politician up there in the establishment that can be clear on this issue.
Yeah, like if Pete came out and immediately said like no more arms transfers, it's a genocide that's happening right now, he'd be so clouded.
Oh, absolutely.
He would be a shoo-in for the 2028 primary. Like that would be it right there. People would reward you for being like doing something when every other politician won't do a damn thing.
But it's like, all right, Pete just can't catch a vibe. Like the Democrats' approval of Israel is the Democrats' approval of Israel is almost as low as black people's approval of Pete Buttigieg.
It's impressive how it's 0%, right?
It's impressive. It's like almost impossible, you know? And he like just can't catch the vibes.
Dude,
man.
Rarely is the American population so aligned on one issue as they are, as black people are against Pete and as the Democratic Party is against Israel right now. Oh, man. Pete Buttigieg needs to learn how to catch a vibe, dude.
But like there's going to be nothing in the Kamala Harris book that talks any way about Israel being this issue that's going to be prevalent on the 2028 debate stage.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's either going to be prevalent because everyone has become clear on it and they are going to try and distance themselves from the party's past, or it will be prevalent because we still have people who are out of touch running these debates, acting candidates if their first visit will be to Israel.
Yeah. If the book doesn't touch on like campaigning with Liz Cheney and completely ignoring the issue of Gaza in any real way, then like I'm not sure what the book is about.
There's got to be something that she takes a stance on, right?
I mean, I would think, but like it could just be like I stand for reviving the American middle class from the bottom up and the middle out, or whatever the fuck.
The like fucking Biden line, hope and change.
Yeah, it's gonna be that kind of stuff, I think. And if it doesn't touch on like the critical errors that the campaign made in rejecting economic populism and campaigning with Republicans and all this other shit, and especially the stuff on Gaza, then what insights can be gleaned other than insights maybe into like the psychosis that Kamala Harris finds herself in?
I was gonna say, is she gonna talk about how maybe she shouldn't have just stolen Trump's policies without any of Trump's vibes? No, she's not gonna talk about campaigning with Liz Cheney. She's not gonna talk about Israel fucking. She's not gonna talk about the billion other things that were wrong. She's not gonna talk about how she should have distanced herself from Biden. Mm-hmm. She's gonna be like, God, the country was in such a dark place that they couldn't respect Biden and fuck with Trump instead.
Yeah, I mean, she could maybe like throw her consultants under the bus. Like I shouldn't have listened to David Plouffe telling me to campaign with Liz Cheney.
Now that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I might vote for her in 2028 if she does that.
If she throws the consultancy under the bus, man, I'm back in the K-Hive.
But like, I feel like the book was probably written by the consultancy.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what this is about.
The book was focus group, and if it wasn't written by a consultant, it was ran through 3. Mm-hmm. And every word of this thing was approved. Like, no. Why would you start off the book like that? Why would you start off the book? My Secret Service code name was Pioneer. You lost!
You lost bigly.
Like, your loss to Donald Trump, I feel like, is more historic than the glass ceiling that was broken by you becoming the vice president. And I don't know if that's like maybe like a crazy take to say, but it's like, I recognize the significance of like a female being in that position of power. Female sounds crazy. Of a woman being in that position of power.
He checked himself.
I had to. I can't be one of those guys. I'm usually not. I recognize that significance, but it's like the stakes were so high.
Yeah.
And you fucked that up so hard.
Yeah, and like part of the thing is like, yeah, Biden kind of tokenized her, right?
Biden tokenized her. Biden threw her under the bus
many times.
Many times in general by making her the border czar, and also by like waiting to drop out.
Yeah, and that's the bigger one. There's like even deciding to run again and then tossing this responsibility onto your vice president like that. Biden fucked her over ridiculously.
But she's not going to say that.
Yeah,
and like the stakes of that election were so high, as we are seeing right now. Possibly the most consequential election in American history.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. And it resulted in only the second time in U.S. history a guy that lost getting reelected.
Literally historic.
Yeah.
Fucked up, man.
Fucking Grover Cleveland 2.0. Donald Trump. Here we are,
Donald Tariff Trump. Donald mass deportations Trump. Donald Lie Trump.
Donald Liar Trump.
Donald Liar Trump. Donald Epstein Files Trump. And I think that's a good place to end this one.
Yeah, we've been in here long enough. It's been a long week of politic. Mm-hmm. And I think it's time to get out of here and thank our most wonderful, most beautiful patrons.
Yes. Starting with Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Chuplinski.
Holy moly, Mark
Clayton,
Chuplinski.
We've been talking for a long time, fellas. Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari, Fergalaki, Max Vesquez, Jacob Rogers, Cole Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Bagel Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Kutch, Jennifer DeVoe, Croft Fishin, Benny Bennington III, Alexi Benanti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Carker Charleston, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron and his Gundams, Darth Father, Tailored for Content, Corey Chambers, Retro Mondo, Veronica aka V, Raxon Asmith, The Grotler, Murder in a Trench Coat, Casey Lynn Kelly, AK Gon, Iguana Don, Zach Lantian, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensack, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Anna Valenic, KCC, Say Yes to West, August Particular Pickman, Sir Capelot, Jeff Science, Brenna's Egg, Froggy Gumdrop,
Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Walls 3000, Chris T, Kishan Lala, Amanda R, Tyler J, Particulon, Memfrez, Rhonda Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Booty Snakes, Do Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fida Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addie Book, Merlin, Cryobangi, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Graham, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Majawa, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6-Inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Crackles, Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Joshua Franklin, Southern Lefty, Lark61, KC, Cannon Man, Troy H, Rock Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nut Mode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nix, Sound Logic, Sleven, I have never made a woman orgasm, John from Houston, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon.
So much.
How could we do it without you?
Yeah.
And if you find yourself getting T-boned at an intersection by a military APC, good luck.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Send pics.
Send pics. That's an immediate guest scheduling.
Oh,
right there.
you will be on the show. If your car,
and we'll be milking it.
If your car gets totaled by an APC, let us know.
And I'll be like, so how is this fascism bearing down on you? And that's getting clipped. That's getting put on Don Lemon's show again.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Have a great weekend.